January 1st, 2026 will mark 2 years since I left my previous job to lead an organization to fight the church's man problem. And I want to begin by saying thank you. Thank you to all of you donors who have made this possible. Now, what is the church's man problem? Well, during the last 2 generations, male joblessness, suicide, depression, isolation, and educational failure, they've all skyrocketed. And alongside this collapse, fatherlessness has risen from 9% in the 1960s to 25% today. Christian churches, too, they've all seen a mass exodus of men. Now, all of those things, they're a problem for this generation, but they're an even bigger problem for the next. Why? Well, 2 reasons. First, dads are an incredibly strong predictor for child success at the natural level. Psychologically, romantically, in the classroom, and eventually on the job market, dads matter. Second, the presence of a faithful Christian father is a huge influencer on a child's faith trajectory. That's why I founded Forge. Men are under attack, and when men fall, the family and the church fall with them. At Forge, we rebuild the church by rebuilding families, and we rebuild families by rebuilding men. Now, how do we do that? Well, the best approach is a local approach. And at the center of Forge's strategy are networks of men in local communities. Those networks consist primarily in small groups, which are in turn supported by exceptional events and empowering content. Jesus commanded the disciples to go and be fishers of men, and fishermen, they need nets. At Forge, our net is our network. And we have seen the Forge network do some incredible things in these first couple years. First, after kicking off Forge in Des Moines, Iowa, we saw dozens of small groups arise, and we now coordinate around 80 active Forge small groups in the Des Moines area, a number that continues to climb every month. 2, we've made some great curriculum to support our small groups, not only in Des Moines and in Wichita, but for men everywhere. We've released 4 world-class curriculum on topics like the healthy sexual formation of young men, a father's role in passing on the faith, and the sanctity of a man's job in the workplace. We've also been recognized by Cent Ventures as a top 5 finalist for emerging Catholic nonprofits throughout the entirety of the United States. Also back in Des Moines, we hosted a world-class men's conference, the largest that Iowa has ever seen by a notable margin. And last, but most certainly not least, we've grown legs. What we started in Des Moines is now also in Wichita, Kansas. We have a chapter in Wichita led by Eric Dorneman, Forge's first city director outside of Des Moines. Thank you to the men of Wichita for throwing your weight into the movement for men, marriages, and families. None of this would be possible without the generosity of people like you. Thank you. And we're just getting started. In the years to come, we envision thousands upon thousands more men involved in Des Moines and in Wichita. We envision many other cities answering the call, and we pray that you will keep building with us. More than any metric or any headline, I'm most proud of the lives that I have concretely seen changed through Forge. Just a couple months after getting Forge started, a man wrote me a letter saying, "I know that Forge is going to change the world because it's already changed my world." In the months following that, I saw Forge start dozens of small groups. And thanks to those groups, I saw men take huge steps forward towards breaking addictions, becoming better fathers, and returning to the faith. I've seen men go to confession after decades away from the sacraments, and hundreds of men have made small, incremental, positive changes. Thank you. Just a couple of weeks ago, I got a note from a man in a Forge small group who had this to say. "I was first introduced to Forge in the midst of a career struggle that affected every aspect of my life. I was constantly traveling for work, leaving my wife and children at home with little help. When I would return home, I was not the husband or the father they deserved and allowed myself to continue to be consumed by my work. In the roughly 2 years since joining this organization, not only have I become the faith leader of my household, but also transformed my relationship with Christ. Forge led me to strengthen my faith and helped me become the husband and the father that I was created to be. Since getting started, we have been able to change the lives of hundreds and hundreds of men. In the years to come, we want to reach hundreds of thousands, even millions of men. Thank you for making our work possible thus far. Your generosity is critical for our continued success.